I'm Dr. Donna Oriola. I am a sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area. My specialty is in how colorism and texturism impact mental and sexual health, though I also am a really big fan of all things pleasure-based.
I like the way you said that. That sounds wonderful. Well, we found you in an article about car sex, and we would love to know how to do that. But first, I feel like we have to lay the groundwork that car sex in general is like risky because it's not really something you're supposed to do. So let's go through those things first, those disclaimers about car sex, and then we can get into the juicy details. So what are those?
Don't get labeled a sex offender on my account. So
exactly. We're not encouraging. We're just, if you happen to fall into car sex, we'd like to know how to do it.
Yeah. So I just don't send me any emails. I do not have bail money. I have nothing for you if you should get caught doing any of the things in your car. But I guess if I were going to say to get started, you need a car.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Car sex kind of happens in a car. Nowhere else.
Nowhere else. Great.
Yeah, feels like
nowhere else.
So we also want to know like how to prep your car for car sex. Is there things like you should have in it for sexy time, for dirty things?
Like an air freshener.
Like an air freshener.
I feel like firstly, it should be clean, or as clean as it can be. A lot of cars, I've seen my fair share of very, very, very junky, dirty cars. If you wouldn't want to touch it with your own hand, I don't know that you want to touch it with your ass. So my thought is make sure that it's cleanish, mostly clean. And then a few things to keep in your car. You can have maybe like a little like cloth on Velcro so that you can cover the windows. Have some water because, you know, water is good for you. Drink up. You want to make sure that, I would say that you would want something that you might be able to lean on. So like if you could have like a little pillow or something that you might be able to use, it can also help with some comfort as well as being able to switch yourself into some different positions. And what else could you have in your car?
In terms of supplies, like if you're not supposed to keep like condoms in the glove compartment or anything like that, right? Because that's bad for them.
Why? Oh God.
No, the extreme temperatures, extreme cold to extreme hot, you are messing up the integrity of the condom. You want to bring that with you when you are going into.
Okay. See, in
my definitely don't keep it there.
Keep a car condom. Just right.
What about car lube?
Yeah. Can we have car lube?
Car lube. Now it would be in cold weather, it would be cold, and in hot weather, it would be hella hot. So I guess the question is, do you like your lube to feel that way? And if you don't like your lube to feel that way, I would say that this is going to be the stuff that you bring on your sex car travel bag. You can have your lube, you can have your condoms, you can have some of your toys as well, particularly battery operated toys. Just because a lot of cars don't have outlets. I know that some of them do, but a lot of them don't. So make sure you have those make sure they're charged.
Yes.
Like, for anyone listening, this is your moment. Go charge your toys.
Absolutely.
But yes, have them charged so that you can just sort of grab this sort of sexy car bag and go. You're also going to want like a washcloth or a towel or whatever so that you can wipe things down. Some hand sanitizer because, well, it's that time of the forever.
That time of the
that time of the So making sure that you have that. And I would say that aside from water for drinking, you want water that you would be able to use on your washcloth to wipe down surfaces or hands or whatever, just in case things get a little sticky.
Sticky.
Maybe a camel pack with everything in it.
Sure.
And
one that has the
camel
back for the water.
Exactly.
Because then you're just all in one.
Yeah.
You're ready. It would be such a bummer to have to use the like cigarette lighter to charge your toy. Like,
I feel like it would take forever.
It would probably take forever.
Your car dies
a little dangerous
in the process.
Yeah. That would 100% happen to me. My car would die from just anything.
Well, charge your toy.
I
So,
will.
will do. There we go. Let's avoid it.
Let's avoid it all.
In terms of like how you have, obviously cars are all different, but where are you having sex in the car? I'm picturing we both have cars where there's not like a separate trunk necessarily. It's like all like an SUV. So like
Oh, okay.
laying down the back seats, like what are some more like structural things that we should take into account?
Depending on the car, if you have a van, I feel like it's sort of easy. You got all this lovely space. If you have a
Vans are rocking.
two-door sedan or like a hatchback or something like that, now it gets a little bit tricky. So when I think of car sex, I think of sex that you can have both in the car as well as outside of the car. So like on the car.
Okay.
We're not going there.
And I'm excited to go there.
Yes.
Please continue.
So obviously having sex outside the car or on top of the car is way more risky. So like bringing that disclaimer back. But if your car is parked in, say, a garage, you can have all the excitement of without all the trouble.
That's a good point.
All the risk.
Yeah, all those risks. So it's still like having sex inside, but it still will be novel, which can still sort of titillate the mind and the body and lean it toward, really rearing up that accelerator, saying, yes, 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 let's do this. Absolutely. So having sex on the car can, depending on the type of car, obviously. So the hood of the car is obviously a really great choice. If you're feeling like you can get up there, I would probably say lay down like a sheet or a towel or something, just because the outside of cars are fucking filthy.
Dead bugs.
Yeah.
And it depending on temperature, that thing might be extra hot or extra cold. Don't get burnt on my account.
Yeah.
So doing it that way.
Sheets or towels.
Yes, sheets, towels, something to protect yourself. So doing it on the hood. If it's a 4-door sedan with a trunk, then you could also do it on the trunk. You can also open the trunk and do some positions that allow you to put like one foot inside the trunk and use it as an anchoring mechanism.
Like that.
You can always open the back door and sort of lean in and doggy style behind you. For oral sex, the person, doesn't matter what gender, they can be laying down inside the car or in a way that their genitals are exposed to you, and you can be leaning over giving oral sex.
Oh, see, this is getting a lot more
creative
than I was expecting. Because literally when I think of car sex, I think of crawling over my seat to get in the back seat. Like I'm thinking of a really small car and it being awkward and clunky, but this is like a little sexy getaway.
Yeah.
The way we're talking about it.
The vehicle is the sexiest of getaways.
Yeah.
It really is.
So if you do kind of need to like get out of the car to get into the back or transition, how can you make that a sexy experience as opposed to like a clunky one?
I say embrace the clunk. I think that we get very caught up in trying to make it look a certain way, very sexy, very alluring, sort of like the perfect sex that we might see in a movie. Sex is not perfect. It's full of bodily sounds and things that you didn't expect. So just sort of embrace all of that. Allow moments of laughter to fuel the sexiness of the entire situation. Now, if you know that you are not flexible or going to be comfortable trying to squeeze your body between two seats to get to the back, I suggest getting out of the car and then opening the back door.
Yeah. That does.
So it makes it a little bit easier to get back there. And it's more comfortable, and you can make it a sexy game. Back in the day, I've never seen anyone do this ever recently, but people run around the car at a red light, and then once it turns green, you have to hurry up, hop back in, and then go. You can do something like that, but for the sex that you're about to have in the car.
Oh, that's fun.
That'd be fun.
Oh my God.
So you can turn it into like So like put on your favorite song and then say when the beat drops or when the chorus starts, then hurry up and get in the back seat. So you get out, you're running around the car, and then you get in and you're having sex to a song that both of you like.
Oh my God, I love it.
It's like musical chairs, but dirty.
And it's like getting your heart beating and
Yeah,
stuff.
Exactly. So the way that our bodies work, any type of arousal, including the arousal from exercise, like bodily arousal, not like, don't think mental arousal, but your body is aroused. So the heart rate climbing, the pupils dilating, and all the things, you know, sex flush, all that stuff that happens when your body is getting ready to have sex, it does not know the difference from one arousal to the next. It is about the context of your mind that determines whether or not this is sexy arousal, I want to have sex, or scary arousal, I want to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can, in doing that, you're also heightening up your body. You are now present also in your body, in the beating of your heart and probably the laughter that is coming through. All these things are sort of just fueling this sexy time that you're about to have in the back seat.
Oh, I like that.
I love that.
That's so cute. Super fun. So I want to you've already opened my mind to so many different ways you can use the car. So can we get into like specific positions within the car that you can kind of be your go-to, whether you're having it in the front seat, the back seat, or like a full trunk that's like laid down and flat?
All right. So, depending on if there's any penetration or not, will depend on which sort of positions work the best and how you might have to modify to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to have sex in the front seat of the car, you have to be mindful of several things, including your windshield. You know, be careful of the windshield. Don't break anything because, you know, safe flight repairs, but it's not free to replace. Depending, someone might see you. If you're in the front seat, it is, you know, a highly visible space. So certainly cover it up if you can. But one of the things that you could do, keeping in mind the center console, move one of the seats back a little bit and try to straddle the other person. Now, one of your legs is going to undoubtedly be uncomfortable because it'll be jammed up against the door, but try not to think of your discomfort. Just think of all the fun that you're having in the car in that moment. Another one that you can do in the front seat, depending on the height of your vehicle, you can sit on the lap of the person.
Okay.
And sort of lean over on the front console. So they can move their chair all the way back, lean the chair back, and then you sit, and it gives you a little bit more room. And try not to go up and down because obviously limited vertical space. You want to move back and forth more. So you want to twist, you want to tilt your hips under, up and under, up and under, so that you're getting the friction. Both of you are having a great time, whether or not it's with a toy or strap or anything else. And obviously for car sex, you have to think about it beforehand because you need to be appropriately dressed. Nobody has time to take off a 3-piece suit. If that is what you're choosing to wear, who's got the time? This is a time for skirts and dresses and those sweatpants that are very easily removed. It's the time for those easy clothes. Think, I am really trying to get through airport security, not I am really trying to look my best right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is not a job interview. This is, you want to have sex in the car. So think about that outfit that is easy access. I personally like things with buttons that go all the way down because you can open the whole thing and there you are, basically naked.
You're just ready.
Exactly, ready. Dresses and skirts are easy to lift. But if you're wearing like very skin tight jeans and you're wearing knee-high boots on top of them, there's a belt involved, and there's all these layers, you clearly weren't thinking about having sex in your car. Maybe let it go until you're appropriately
next time. With these positions, like would the penetrative either toy or person if that's the type of sex you're engaging in, need to be on bottom, or is there any way for the
In the front seat, yes.
Okay.
They more likely need to be on the bottom. Now, if you want them on top, now we're talking about definitely move the seat as far as it will go, lay it down flat or as flat as it will go. You're gonna, the laying down partner, the receiving partner is gonna wanna put their leg over the center console toward the front, toward the other seat. Don't do this in the driver's seat. You want to do this in the passenger seat just because
the steering wheel,
unless your steering wheel moves or removes. I guess if you're a NASCAR driver, that's the case. But if not, then definitely be in the passenger seat. But you want to lean the seat back, put at least one leg over the console. Now, if you're doing this with the doors open or the other door open, then you have a little bit more room. But they're going to need to come through and sort of get between your legs, but they're not going to have a whole lot of room. So you're going to want to make sure you're smushed up or back onto the seat as far as you could possibly go, so that they can have some room to hover above.
Okay. Yeah, that one does.
And again, none of this up and down nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Glide.
Yes, glide, which is actually better for sex just in general. I think that we do a lot of, particularly having sex with a male partner, there's a lot of, let's go like this, like I'm going to go like this because this gives me the most friction, but your clitoris is not being engaged. And if your clitoris is not being engaged, the likelihood of you having an orgasm decreases dramatically. You want your clitoris engaged as much as possible, which means that more of that back forward movement, it still gives friction to a penis if a penis is involved, but it also gives friction to a clitoris if a clitoris is involved. So
I have another clarification question that I think might be really important because I was picturing it in the driver's seat. And so I'm glad that you said that because I was like, well, the steering wheel will be on the way, but safety reasons as well. So should the car also be completely off?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. As a matter of fact, put on the parking brake just to make sure that the car does not move. But off in the sense that the motor is not running, but it can still be on, like the music is playing or something like that. But you definitely want your car to be stationary if you're going to be having sex in it.
I'm glad we stated this.
Yes. Particularly if you're having sex with someone in it, it should definitely be stationary, because solo sex, on the other hand, does not necessarily require a stationary car.
Oh my God, I have so many more questions than I thought I would. I want to get into solo sex. I also want to get into roadhead stuff, but maybe
we actually totally forgot about.
We forgot about so many things. Do we want to ask any more questions? Continue some backseat positions, and then we'll go into all that other stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Backseat positions look very similar to whatever you can do in the front seat, you can definitely do in the back seat, and you have a little bit more room to do it depending on the design of your car. So someone can lay on their back and sort of face to face, like missionary style. You can also turn over doggy style. Just, you want to hang out of the door just a little bit more. Doggy style in the car is actually rather difficult just because space limitations depending on your car. I mean, you want to sit on top, you can sit on top. I mean, whatever you want to do in the back, you can pretty much, you have to modify it given the height of your car and the depth of the back seat. But if you have like a hatchback, then you might also be able to lay the seats all the way down, or fold them up. And then you're sort of creating a different sort of space. You just want to be mindful of where you place your hands and feet, so you don't hurt yourself or anyone else. I would also say there's got to be a lot of check-in around having sex in the car, just to make sure that the other person is fine, that you are fine. And that you're both still enjoying yourself. I would also note that aftercare for having sex in a car might require some rubbing down of limbs, because you may have been squished or had very restricted movement. I do not recommend if you're a person who is very claustrophobic, just because cars are confined in little spaces. So having someone not be in their own seat can pose, like a little bit of a mental risk that makes you feel like you're stuck or like you can't get out. So I did want to make sure I mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I feel like the possibilities are endless depending on what your car is doing. So if you're like at a drive-in theater, the car is stopped, you know, you can get in the back seat or get in the other seat in the front and have a really great time. But obviously, if the car's in motion, you're probably not doing any of that. And if your car is somewhere solitary where other people will not see you and you won't get into trouble, then you now can open the doors, which offers more space and possibility of having sex on the car, as well as in the car or hanging out of the car.
Okay. Wow.
Do you have any tips for like preventing the fogging up of windows?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Do you just like crack a window or just
crack the windows a little?
Yeah.
But then your sounds get out.
Yeah. But then I feel like that'd be kind of better because if the windows are rolled up, one, foggy, two, it kind of gets like musty.
Maybe like a little dehumidifier.
Yes.
Maybe you can get like that can go in your pack.
That could go in your pack. Because
I mean, you could turn it on in your car, I guess. But I think that's more for outside of the car. I don't know how it works. All I know is that it does work.
It does work. Yeah. Cause when you were talking about making sure like the car is off, but you can still have the music on, like that's another one of the things that I think about is like the ambiance. It feels very quiet if the car is off and all you hear is your sounds and the movements. I don't know. That takes me out of the moment. So I feel like I would need the music to be on, the window to be cracked. You know, I get sweaty and I just like, I have this like, I need all the things adjusted for my comfort.
Then adjust the things for your comfort. I would even say that a part of the sex pack would probably be to have a small speaker that you can put on in case you have a car battery that will not cooperate with the mood that you're wanting to set and will not stay on long enough for you to achieve. Then I would say go ahead and have a small pre-charged, obviously, speaker so that you can play the music and set the sort of ambiance that you're looking for. And yeah, you were talking about like, oh, should car freshener? Yeah. If there's a car freshener that just makes you sing, or even a small candle unlit that you can put in the car as well. It doesn't have to be lit, because just having the candle in a small space, you can smell it. If you want to light it, that's your business. Don't light your car on fire because there's gasoline. But
lots of precautions with car sex. That's important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It is risky.
It is.
Have sex in the car.
And with all that risk and kind of like trial and error that you'd have to go through, would you suggest car sex with like a casual hookup, or should you do it when you maybe more comfortable with like a partner that you've been around for longer?
I mean, technically you could do it with anyone at any time, but I would probably say someone that you feel more comfortable about, as opposed to someone that you just met casual hookup style.
Yeah. Someone with fast reflexes too. Someone comes walking. Yeah. You got to know you can trust them to get their shit.
You should test them.
Yeah.
Put them through some trials, like a couple days before, like throw shit at them.
Yeah.
Make sure they catch it.
Like how are your reflexes?
Yeah.
Yes. Or like when those firefighters do tests to how fast they can get on all their stuff. We can do that too. Start naked. How fast can you get on all your clothes?
Yeah.
In a confined space.
Yeah. Put them
so hopefully you're not completely naked either.
Yes. That's another really good tip is don't get completely naked. Fast clothes that you can move and shift.
Maybe a zipper.
Maybe a zipper.
Footsie PJs.
Onesies.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I am so excited to get into all of these other things that we didn't even think about. Where do we want to start? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with car masturbation, solo sex, and then we'll move into moving car and then like road dome stuff.
I have never heard that word.
Then we'll finish off
road dome.
You've never heard road dome?
I've only heard roadhead.
Oh, I've literally thought you said.
But a dome is a head, right?
Yeah.
So
synonyms.
Okay. Yes. Let's talk about solo sex in the car.
So solo sex can, depending on how you want to do it. So I'm not saying that the other person can't be there. I'm saying you get in the back seat and they are driving and they are listening to you have a very good time in the back, wishing that they could be there too.
Oh my God.
They need to keep their eyes on the road. On the road. Keep your eyes on the road. There, no car accidents here. And everyone should be wearing their seatbelts. Mm-hmm. But you want to stay in a position where they cannot see you at all. That all they can do is hear you. So directly behind them would probably be the best way, just to make sure that they are not tempted to look, but all they can do is hear. So you are just piquing their sexual interest just through the noises alone.
Oh my God. In terms of road games, this one really beats I Spy.
Yeah. It really beats the license plate game.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my God. When you said make sure they can't see you, I thought, I'll put a sheet over myself.
Fully blanket covered.
Like a ghost in the back that's just moving around. I like I'll just sit behind them.
I'll just sit behind the driver's seat.
Be the masturbation ghost.
Obviously still very risky, but the person has to pay attention to the road, keep their eyes there. You can also do the stationary, where they are sitting in the front masturbating themselves. You're sitting in the back, you're masturbating. So now it's a mutual masturbation, but neither of you can see each other. You're just listening to each other.
I like that. We've talked about mutual masturbation a couple of times on the podcast. I will admit it terrifies me. I don't know if you've changed your tune on that, but it makes me very nervous. So that feels like a really good step in that direction of like exploring that without the visual aspect of it.
Totally.
And if you want some of that visual aspect, then you just sit in diagonal seats.
Or put the rear view mirror, angle it.
Yeah. Or you can both sit in the back, or you can both sit in the front. Be careful of handbrakes, make sure the car is off. But that's another way to sort of do mutual masturbation in the car.
Okay. Are there any other games that you can play with like your partner in the front seat? Like where you're still masturbating? I'm just trying to think of other ways you can tantalize, I
guess you could dirty talk too, right?
Absolutely.
That could be fun. Ooh, that was fun.
Oh, the art of dirty talk.
Art of dirty talk. Wow. That's insane. Okay. So should we go into like masturbating in a stationary car by yourself?
Yeah.
So, well, I guess that looks like masturbating anywhere else.
Yeah,
by yourself. You could also do it while your partner's on the phone. So if y'all are not in the same car, you can just be on the phone together and sort of run through all, those fantasies of like, oh, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. And you touch yourself and let them hear you. So you want to be vocal so that they can actually hear you. Otherwise, it's just like all of a sudden it's dead silence on the phone.
Yeah, you don't want that, I don't think.
Yeah, this is just a little awkward. So be as breathy as you like. You can use your car Bluetooth, so then you're also hands-free. You're not having to worry about where the phone is or what the phone is doing. You're just allowing yourself to sort of be in a space together.
That's a whole other type of phone sex. Surround sound Bluetooth. Phone sex in the car. That's cool.
That is so cool. Especially if you have a roommate or something. I'm thinking if you wanted to have really loud phone sex with somebody, you could go into your car, or if you live with your family or whoever you don't want.
Keep the windows up.
Yes.
So that the neighborhood does not hear your phone sex.
Yeah, that's totally true. That's really fun. Oh,
that is so cool.
Okay. I have to admit that I have masturbated while on a very long drive. And I actually used to do it kind of frequently. So I would drive home from college and it was like a 7-hour drive. And sometimes I get really tired. So I'd like just try to perk myself up a little bit. And so I've done that and would love to know if you have tips before I share how I did
it. Usually I say, park the car. Usually just because if you are like completely like, oh my gosh, this is the best orgasm ever, you don't want to crash into anyone else. You don't want to accidentally slam on the gas at a time where you needed to be braking or braking at a time where you needed to be accelerating. So all I think of all the things that happen, like for some people, their legs move in spontaneous ways when they're having an orgasm. So just wanting to make sure that you're as safe as possible. But I mean, really, you can do it with a toy, with your fingers. You can play a track of very sexy music or something that reminds you of your partner if you're partnered, or just something that really just makes you feel very fun and turn on. That way, you are sort of engaging all of your senses. I think the best thing about being in the car is the level of surround sound that you get. I mean, I think that they talk about surround sound at home, like your home theater system, but it's like, most people are not going to engage the full home theater system and trying to do their own, their sexy time, because we get so used to having so much space that we're not actually setting ambiance in the same way. And you have the ability to set ambiance even in the car. So bring that candle, that incense, that something that you like to smell. You can bring a blanket or something that you also like the texture and the feel of, something that also sort of heightens the feeling in your own skin, and go in the back seat so you can have more room, or in the passenger seat so that you can lean back a little bit more and not have to worry about the steering wheel or anything like that, and just have a beautiful time with yourself.
That sounds nice.
That's not how you did it.
That's not how I did it.
I could tell.
It is not. Mine was
How did you do it?
Ooh, it was bad. When you say all those safety precautions, I'm like, oh my God, I just risked my life. Well, I'd be driving and I would just either, because I'd usually be driving in leggings. So it's like easier to like touch yourself without taking your pants off. So I would just use my hands and just think about things and then be like masturbating a little bit. I don't know. I have this thing, we've talked about it before on the podcast. I kind of have like a being watched fantasy. So it didn't really like, obviously I would stop if I came up next to a car, but like the fact that I was in daylight and that possibly someone could see me, like kept turning me on, even though it was like kind of uncomfortable and clunky. So like that part kind of played into it, and yeah.
I think that a lot of people have that sort of like, ooh, I could be caught kind of fantasy. Yeah. And I think that some of that goes away when you're an adult and you got your own space, and it's like, well, who's going to catch you? You live there by yourself or with your partner. It's like that part of the fantasy ends up sort of falling by the wayside. I think that even just the act of having any type of sex in the car sort of reintroduces it. You get that sort of, oh, I'm doing something sort of taboo, something sort of naughty, something that I could get in trouble for, but you do want to still mitigate as much risk as possible, because being on the sex offender list is probably not something that a lot of people are looking forward for when they're having car sex. But something that could happen, especially if you're an iChat, is someone that should not be seeing. So, risk is, it's part of this thing, and I want you to mitigate it as much as possible. But I mean, the possibilities of having car sex are almost endless, depending on your vehicle. Yes. I feel like a lot is very dependent upon your vehicle.
Right. Yeah. I used to like car make out and like car kind of like dry hump ish in high school, when you couldn't really go home. And obviously that was always a little bit more clunky, a little bit more cramped, because I was in like a Camry. And that's kind of the only vibe I've had of being intimate in a car. So this has been, besides to myself. But
no, I was thinking about my own experiences.
Oh, okay. But yes, like this has definitely been eye-opening in terms of like all that you could do, especially if you're saying like maybe you're in a garage, so you could open up the doors and have some like sex on the car. What is your experience?
I had car sex in a rental car in Hawaii.
That's fun.
It was really fun.
Ooh.
And I was terrified of getting in trouble.
Yeah, I was so off-brand for you.
So off-brand for me. That's like the riskiest thing I've ever done. And it was like not risky. We were like on private property and like everything. It was so fine. But yeah, I was terrified, but it was so fun. And I was very scared, but I think that was a part of it. And the other thing that I have done that after hearing you say all of the risks, I understand it was a stupid choice. I have given roadhead. One time. just one time, and it was while the car was
I
moving.
feel like at some point we all do it, but we haven't thought about the full risk.
Right.
It's like, because I'm like, your seatbelt is not on properly. Not if you're giving roadhead. Not really.
Not really.
My head would get squished like a little bug.
Like a little bug if any impact happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dangerous. Don't recommend. I don't recommend.
It's also, for me, like I've given it, I think once or twice as well. It was just, it's kind of an awkward, like lean over the center console. And then, I don't know, you kind of,
and then watch your arm, watch the thing. Let me make sure I'm close enough.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
At that point, it would just be more fun to be like, okay, pull over and like get into the back seat.
Right. Exactly. For me, at least, my experience wasn't super like, I'm going to do this again.
No. Wasn't like, wow, 10 out of 10. We'll be roadheading again.
Will be roadheading. No. Need to learn how to do
I think that's one of the ones where the roadhead can look a little bit different in the sense that you do pull over somewhere. Maybe you stop at like a truck stop or something like that on the way to wherever you're going. If you're actually going somewhere secluded enough, if you're not actually going anywhere, you're just trying to have sex in your car, then you get in the back seat and do the road dome that way. And it's like, oh, we just did this thing and now we're getting back in the front seat to keep on whatever journey we're in. You can also do it with a coin. So flip heads or tails, right? So it could be like at every intersection, heads means left, tails means right. And you can determine how many times you're going to flip the coin so that you know where you're going. You know, you're going to end up in some random space. And then you flip it one final time. Is it going to be road head or is it going to be road tail?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Love that. I was like, oh, head or eating ass. Okay, I get it. I like that. That's better.
Am I gonna eat your balls or your ass?
You can do that one too.
I guess it's just whatever floats your boat. You know?
Yeah, it's your preferences. It's your car. It's your business.
Whatever tune you dance to. I like heads or tails as head or tail. I like that a little bit better. Oh, that's a really fun game. Oh, the car games are so fun. Sexy car games.
You don't even have to have a coin. If you have a phone, just tell Siri to flip a coin.
Oh, that's smart too.
Or
who has coins anymore?
Who uses those?
Yeah, I was gonna look for a coin, and I'm at home and I don't have one. Oh, is this a quarter? Okay,
that's a good find.
You're ready.
I almost never find quarters. I don't have quarters ever.
Just pennies.
Just pennies and dimes.
I feel very rich.
You're a wealthy person.
Oh my God.
So fun. I feel like we got so many more ideas.
Yeah, you answered. I was gonna say you answered all our questions so well, but you answered like beyond our questions.
Yes, that was really fun. I love that we went into masturbation too. That's really fun and funky.
Is there anything you feel like we didn't cover that you wanted to throw in there?
Well, masturbation, sex requires clean hands, which is why you want to have that other bottle to wash your hands so that you do not introduce bacteria into your lovely bits.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair game. Love it.
Yeah. Good ender. Where can our listeners continue to connect with you after this episode?
They can connect with me on Instagram at AnnodRight, ANNODRIGHT. I'm also on TikTok now at AnnodRight again. And they can also find me at AnnodRight.com.
Perfect.
So branded you are.